are going to be live in about 1 minute. Are you guys ready? I am. Let's do it. Bam! We are live. Welcome to the show. We got a fun one. Okay. So remember I told you I make these shows as the day goes? That rhymes. ASMR session. So today I'm going to be resizing our graphics on the spot. Is what it is. Now we're going to break into it, guys. You thought I was done with Tom Brady and the Tom Brady news? I'm not. And this is why. We're going to get there, actually. First, I'm going to start with something a little different. Remember this, because this is going to be a running motif throughout the show, your life, and the future, foreseeable future, as we know it. This is a watermelon. If you see an apple, it's because you're a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Yep, that's right. If they say it's a damn watermelon, it better be a watermelon, or you're wrong. That's the type of mentality we're dealing with, and that's the type of crazy that is now normal, at least normalizing. And you know at this program, that will always be an apple. I'm not a right-wing conspiracy theorist, and I can prove it. And so can you, and when you watch that, I will give you tons of ammo as I spit everywhere. That I can assure you. So we're going to go into it. But first I want you to remember, before I hit the whole Tom Brady saga up, which is going to be rather entertaining, believe you me. Impeachment 2.0, live updates, Trump trial begins. Pelosi and the Dems are defending democracy. Actually, it begins. Pelosi. Dems are defending democracy. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I will resize this for you so you can understand what is happening. I will put that here right behind me. And I will also say right here, they're defending democracy by removing a president that's not the president, who's not in office. So they want to formally impeach a man who's not a president, a private citizen, over something they think he implied. And we're going to get back to this. We're going to circle back to this by the end of the episode because it's going to come together. And if you don't think that they're protecting democracy, well, then you think that that apple is an apple and not a watermelon, and you're a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Remember, the normal people are trying to remove somebody who's not the president from the office of president. So, they're defending democracy. Okay, now we're going to get into it. We're going to circle back to how ridiculous all of that is by episode's end. Here we go. This is a tweet coming in from somebody named Eliza Orleans, or in the words of Tucker Carlson, somebody called Eliza Orleans. Are you ready? Watching the hashtag Super Bowl and seeing so many people in one place, this is making my heart race. This feels unsafe. And I guess I'm rooting for the team with the racist name over the team with the Trump-loving quarterback in a sport that still hasn't apologized to Colin Kaepernick. Everyone ready for me to break it down? Do you want to break it down? Because you can in the comments. I'd love to read them. 1. Colin Kaepernick began to suck as a quarterback and then progressively declined at his job. In the real world, you don't just keep your job because you're bad at it. Matter of fact, when you suck at your job, you get removed from your job. This is the real world. Also, any claim to staying on the team was shadowed by the ratings tanking and the team taking such heat from all the owners that are losing money, that are giving money to all of the players to perform. So, again, what happens when you take away income? this is good for federal minimum wage and for people that don't know basic economics and can't balance their checkbooks, but tell us, all of us watching that are pissed off about basic common arithmetic, that we're wrong. Yeah, the Super Bowl, this tweet about the Super Bowl is plagued by everything, but it finishes with, again, Colin Kaepernick. If you don't back up your ratings driving to the plummet ground level with good play, you're called more of a headache than what you're worth, and you get cut. And no owner wanted to tank their team and take on that responsibility. And then when it became the woke thing to do, he still effed it all up. And he still moved his training session. So Colin Kaepernick, you got to end the conversation. He doesn't want to be in the NFL. He seems to have lost the edge of being even able to compete in the NFL. And he's too much of a headache. So what does he do? He makes tons of money, more money than we do in a lifetime, selling shoes for Nike, even though he's not a player, and all those shoes are sold with his woke ass not realizing it's done by slave labor and Muslim population in concentration camps. Way to go, Colin. You're a piece of crap. Next, what can we go wrong with this tweet? The heart racing because all the people outside might be giving each other COVID. Again, mostly kept separate, had masks on, were outdoors, and were probably with people they knew. Also, healthcare workers that many of them were probably already vaccinated so they can't get the virus, right? So that doesn't make sense. But we're going to get even a little more. Again, of course, the racist team name and the Trump-loving quarterback. So you got to hate Tom Brady now because he had the MAGA hat in his locker in 2016. So you got to follow this. But let's see the responses, because the responses are very, very fun. That's where I say the fun comes in. Seeing so many people in one place, it's making my heart race. This feels unsafe. Well, that's true. Did they notice that the majority of the audience outdoors were cardboard cutouts? That's interesting. That's a doozy. What about this? Hold on. Thank you for expressing the concerns, as many of us did not have the courage to express. I hope these cardboard cutouts don't go home and infect the rest of their cardboard families. Very good observation. Okay. Oh, this tweet was so close to winning the, quote, woke bingo. But you forgot to mention the lack of trans athletes playing in the game and the effect the game is having on global warming. I don't know if that's bingo as much as a hat trick of insanity. But let's continue. Okay. I'm getting all these text messages that are coming into my feed. Hang on. Okay? But then it gets a little crazier. Woke Twitter goes after Tom Brady, calls him racist for winning Super Bowl during Black History Month. Let that settle. I want you to take that in. How about the other 6 Super Bowls that took place in Black History Month? Did those not count? Oh, wait. That's right. We weren't all programmed by the media to think that winning a Super Bowl if you were white was racist because it takes place in February. How can any white player ever win a Super Bowl during February? Has it been racist all of this time? And also, Earth to Matilde, just because Tom Brady's the quarterback doesn't mean he didn't win it with his entire team. And this is breaking news to woke Twitter. You know there's black people on the team, right? His running back won the Super Bowl. His running back is a black man. What the hell is wrong with everybody? Are we not following this logic? But it gets even crazier. We're going to go down. We're going to read some tweets. We're going to say this is a thing going around, a headline. Tom Brady called racist for winning Super Bowl during Black History Month. Okay. So I had to get a few of these because I had to do some research and see where these things are coming from, and they just kept popping up. And there it is again. Tom Brady called racist on social media for winning Super Bowl during Black History Month. As they say, Madonna mia. Alright? So we're going to have some fun now. Now we're going to have some fun. Let's get to the tweets, because the tweets are where it's at. If Tom Brady beats Patrick Mahomes during Black History Month, then we have to double whatever we're demanding from reparations. And this is a verified person who tweets. Zito. I have no idea who Zito is. And I started to think that maybe these accounts are dummy accounts and not just dummies. So I figured I have to find more tweets. There has to be more. And it is, Kevin, I agree with you. It's the dumbest shit ever. And the reason why I'm shedding light, if you're still in this chat, is I need to bring out the inconsistencies across the board and show why the whole entire idea of coming together in unity is being affected by stupidity. Unity is great, and then there's stupidity. And if we don't shed light on how stupid people are being on both sides when they're stupid, we're essentially, it's like when children go into the sandbox and hit each other with a brick. Like, you know, like the building blocks, you have and you start hitting other children. If you just ignore it, it lets the behavior go. And everybody from every side of the equation in every race, in a sign of unity, need to unify and call stupidity what it is. And these tweets, I have to talk about because people are acting like it. And I think it's better that across the board, people of all races tell them that this is stupid. There is no world where I'm rooting for Tom Brady to win a Super Bowl during Black History Month. Tom Brady winning during Black History Month is so racist. And again, I'm hoping that these are dummy accounts. I'm hoping that people aren't this crazy. But you have to see that this is out there. You can't think that it's made up. I feel like it's racist that Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes during Black History Month. Tom Brady surpassed Michael Jordan in number of championships during Black History Month. I don't care. That's got to be racist. I'll give Tom Brady his credit in March, but not right now. It's Black History Month and I'm not acknowledging it. Nah, I'm not playing. Brady winning Super Bowls during Black History Month every fucking year is the third most racist thing to ever happen in history. And I have to think that some of these are jokes. And if they're not, they have to wildly be condemned because it's crazy. Ain't no way Tom Brady winning 7 Super Bowls during Black History Month ain't racist. So, yeah, this type of behavior is growing. And people are seeing this that don't follow politics and that don't follow what the actual issues are. And they're turning it into basically a parade of shitting on the actual problems that exist in society. And that in itself is problematic. So let's continue. Let's continue on. I mean, it just keeps going. And these text messages that keep coming through are killing me because it's hooked up to my Mac. And every time I try to click my next slide, I'm getting a text from friends. Okay, so this is why Patrick Mahomes lost. I'm going to show you. Somebody made a TikTok, and it was fantastic. I have to pause it because everyone will get a good laugh out of this. All right, here we go. This is why Pat Mahomes lost. And Pat Mahomes is going to be the best quarterback in a long time. And he's going to win plenty of Super Bowls, I'll tell you right now. But here we go. This is why he lost. Every play, every snap, he was literally throwing the ball backwards and sideways and hitting his receivers directly in the eyeballs. This was so well done. Like, you gotta be kidding me. This is exactly why I lost. There's nothing racist in it. I can laugh at this. This is the best rendition of all. And it just kept happening. This has nothing to do about anything else. Okay? Now that we've gotten through that wacky-ass nonsense, we move on to traveling during COVID. Okay? We're going to go to traveling during COVID. Anyone in the comments, feel free. I will send a special request out to Christy and Lisa. If you keep texting in the group chat, I'm going to have to throw rocks at you next time I see either of you. And one is sitting right there on the couch. Maybe if we're all lucky, I'll turn the camera and you can watch her do Pilates today. Okay, are we ready? We're going to the traveling during the traveling bug. Who has traveled? I have. I went to Mexico. I let it ride in September. We went to Mexico for 12 days. Great. Awesome. Did a lot of stuff. Didn't get COVID. Okay, So rich COVID-19 globetrotters from all countries are finally paying the price for breaking rules. Well, this is going to get interesting. This is what I was worried about when I traveled. They said, what if I get there and the country goes into lockdown, or they close the borders even to planes, or change the testing requirements? How does one from the U.S. go to Mexico and get tested prior to coming back? I don't even know where you get tested in Mexico. I don't live in Mexico. How much does it cost? Sure, it's not like just come and get tested for free. And then what if you get tested and you're positive, even if you don't have symptoms, and now you're stuck there and you have to pay for room and board? And are you staying at a 5-star hotel, or are you going to find some Airbnb? And is it going to be safe? Because certain neighborhoods outside of the tourist zones aren't even safe. So it's definitely risky. And everyone knows the risk going in. I let it ride, and I live to tell the tale. But things are getting interesting. And here we are. And these text messages, man, I got to find a way to stop them from existing.
I don't know why you don't have the thing on disabled.
Because I don't know how to do that. Moving on. However, for many privileged travelers, the decision to take a break from international expeditions is not a result of moral reckoning, but rather stiff fines, seized passports, and involuntary quarantines in jail cells. Shit. It's not sounding fun to travel at this point. But there's more. I got to just keep moving along with these text messages. All right. Meanwhile, Camila Gonzalez and nearly 150 other friends of Calaverinos had an even more unpleasant reality check when their splashy New Year's party in Morocco (parentheses which they traveled to as a last resort, as Europe and the U.S. and Asia were all shut) was reported and raided by police, who seized the passports of everyone that they saw. So now you're in another country taking that risk. You don't have your passport to leave that country, and you've already broken laws, and there's consequences to everything that I just said. And this is the risk we take because of COVID, which I showed you. Depending on your risk factors, you should be able to go on and take your own risk everywhere in the world. Now, I get other countries, they aren't the U.S., but even the U.S. has totally stepped on our rights. And again, if you are unsafe to be around COVID extra, you have other comorbidities and factors, it's your right to stay home. It should not be your right to make everyone stay home, like me, who do not have those factors and can help keep the economy and small businesses and everything alive, and not stop my life because everybody else that wants to stay in wants to stay in. Because if you stay in, I can't actually affect you. And the problem with the vaccine, which I view as a therapeutic, because you still can have it and carry it and spread it, even though you don't have symptoms of it, is you're basically doing what I'm doing now without having the vaccine. Get what I'm saying? So there's a strange line here. Now, while most of the COVIDiots, great branding, got their passports back, 10 weren't so lucky, and only 10 managed to get out of the country illegally, and now believe they'll likely never be able to return to Morocco again as a result. I can't get her name right, whatever her name is, told the Post she was inspired to write the expose, which details numerous other harrowing Corona-era journeys which end in forced quarantines, decrepit jails, and other unsavory accommodations. After noticing, quote, people in my circle of friends, specifically the rule breakers, who had so far made it their life's mission to run away from the virus, are reacting differently this time around. Well, shit, that's because they're ending up in prison.
That was easy.
So it's easier to turn things around and say, maybe, just maybe, it's a riskier time to travel. Let's stay in the U.S. But the U.S., in the words of Dave Chappelle, man, the U.S. is fucking shit up.
That was easy.
Okay? So, let's see now where that leads us. Make sure I didn't skip any article. I did not. Okay. So let's resize this. And then we will get to where I'm going, which is an interesting place. Out of control, travelers to the UK face 10 years in prison for lying about corona travel history. I don't think that if my risk is 10 years in a shitty prison in the UK is the price to go to the UK, I ain't going. I highly suggest you don't go either, but which further F's up the whole entire traveling economy, which has its ripple effects down the board. Again, if I really wanted to, I go to the UK, get some fish and chips and some gravy or whatever the hell they eat. What is it, warm beer? They have some warm beer thing. Am I right with that? Do they have warm beer in the UK? Do you remember anything about that?
I do not.
I think they have warm beer at some point. I could go do that and probably, if I get this virus, not know I had it or just lose my sense of taste and smell. And everybody that's getting on that plane, they know what they signed up for. And we all have to wear masks, so essentially we're good, right? If you have an air filter. So Fauci said if you have an air filter, they tell you to get air filters for your home too. Air filters for your home, wear 2 to 3 masks. How about, they're telling this to people that got vaccinated. So how about I just go, do my thing, and if my thing that I do gets me 6 feet under, you could say he had it coming if that's the type of person you are. Or you could say, shit, that sucks, man. That sucks. But all this going on with traveling, right? All this going on to other countries and traveling. Well, Tucker had a very good segment on last night. And it makes you think. You go to the UK, right? And you could go to prison for 10 years. Or you could go to another country like Morocco. You could end up having your passport taken, not being able to leave the country unless you do so illegally. All of that. Well, right now, endless amounts of people know that they can walk right back into our country like it used to be without getting screened, checked, without being held responsible for being felons or gang members. Just walk right in. Instead of course, go to a port of entry, get checked. But not only are they just walking in, and they're protected by our government, they don't have to get tested for COVID. People are coming forward, explaining it all the time. No COVID test. Just walk right in to the U.S. But if a U.S. citizen goes somewhere else, legally, they could be put in prison if they lie about their history. Or they have to be tested 8 times over, quarantined, tested 8 times over, and then punished by missing days at work. Interesting, no? But if you really wanted to, fly into Mexico and just walk across the border, just sneak back into the country, and you'll probably get a reward. Like, why not do it that way? That makes sense, yeah? So, as all of these executive orders are happening, which we're going to see them talk about, this is from the segment last night. Hold on. Let me get you it. Here you go. Watch this. And then we'll talk amongst ourselves.
To American neighborhoods without bothering to test them for the coronavirus. People from countries with high infection rates, living in crowded conditions, sent forth into the American population like COVID isn't real. That's happening. It is the official policy of the U.S. government. On Friday, the White House was asked about this policy, and here was the response.
The U.S. Customs and Border Protection is saying that they're having to catch and release some migrants without giving them any kind of COVID test before they're entering the community. So what is being done? What could be done?
Are you suggesting they're letting people in across the border without testing them, or just tell me a little bit more about what you're
being released? They're having to, because of the executive order that the president signed earlier this week.
Which executive? Which one?
Yeah, which one? COVID-infected illegal aliens released into the United States? Whatever. It's not like there's a pandemic. The press.
So, plain and simple, right now, the easiest leniency doesn't go to the tax-paying American. The protection doesn't go to the tax-paying American citizen. It goes to the people that are, and you can't even say it's illegal at this point because of all of the 40-plus executive orders that are protecting the ability to just walk right across the border and not be held responsible for illegally entering the country. And the federal government is allowing it all. I think it should be up to the states at this point that are on the border to decide what exactly happens. And they should maybe stimulate the economy and make an actual state force instead of a federal task force like ICE. They can have the state protect the borders and tell ICE to screw off. And this is the same thing where you go, how does that work? Some people don't know how it works. And that's why if you go to California, you could walk into any given shop on the street and take 100 milligrams of THC to the face in the form of a gummy bear. And it's legal. Federally, it ain't legal. Not yet. And this is where I tell everybody to invest, because today was a very good marijuana stock day. Depending on who is running the country, shapes the law. When you have the House and the Senate and the presidency, and one of the big things that are on the docket is marijuana, those stocks are going to shoot up because it's going to be up to the state to decide if it's legal, because it'll be federally legalized. So, right now it's not federally legalized, but they're not sending the federal government into your local dispensary in California. They're just letting it be as it is. Now, if you go a little further, I'm going to get off topic a little bit, because we already got the point that our government's not essentially protecting us, and you have to get COVID tested because the virus that doesn't kill most people is going to spread through you legally traveling with the mask on, instead of traveling with a group of 10,000 people in a caravan all the way from Guatemala through every state, every country through the Southern America and Central America. It just doesn't matter if you bring a new variant, and you don't need to be tested. So just remember. But going back to what I'm saying about state and federal. So New Jersey recently put on the ballot on election day, should weed be legalized for recreational and adult use? And they got that passed. However, that was just the vote. That meant they were going to figure out how to make laws. And they screwed that one up big time, which took a hit on my stock portfolio. But they screwed it up, and they still don't know how to fix their screw up. So it's legal. They say it's legal, but the law says if you have a joint in your pocket, you could go to jail depending on how much marijuana is in that joint for up to 1 year. So you're like, how is it legal? Well, they asked the police not to enforce it nicely. Please don't, with a sugar plum fairy on top. It's not how it works. So they've gotten to the point where now they have to do a lot more research, and then they were going to pass it, and somebody said, well, we have to know what the effect is on children that might get their hands on it. So now they're going through the whole entire process of this, that, and the next thing, because they never thought anything out fully. And they basically should have had a plan in place for if and when they passed this by the vote. They went in with no plan. And this seems to be the running motif of a lot of politicians, and specifically a lot of politicians on the left. You have this idea, but it's just an idea. You don't have anything ready behind the idea. So it's like you're just shooting blanks out into the night. Get your shit together, New Jersey. My stocks depend on it. And well, the federal government's going to be coming in hot soon with it eventually. It has to, or that's going to be a big mess up, because it's tax revenue. And it's actually protecting people, because people are using marijuana across the board. That's why states are making it legal. Medicinally, it's legal in over 30 states. So, get your shit together, New Jersey, because the federal government's going to do it for you. And that is a good way to get tax revenue. Because somehow, some way, even though people are struggling, people do have money for frivolous things. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get, everything circles back at the end. It's a beautiful crescendo of ridiculousness. Okay, so then I see this article. Trump happier now that he's off social media, as per a former aide. Followed by this comment. There's peace on earth. What? So I reached out with my We the People Are the News account, and I said, is there? Please let us know all the ways the earth has had new peace since Trump left office, for a chance to be featured further on the show, on a future show, featured on a future whatever. It's hard being me. So, of course, I get no response. I'm trying to walk people into counterpunches here, because this is the illusion. And you say, what illusion? And I'm going to show you the illusion. This illusion. The upload. You've been told there's been no peace and there's been all this war and hate the whole time Trump was elected through the end of his existence as president. Right? So a lot of people out there that don't follow politics just say, hey, there's peace now. and they really believe the statement. So I want to cause critical thinking, and maybe you can enlighten me. The peace seems to be coming from the people that are happy he's president and they're not outside bashing windows in. Though, there's a lot of people still outside bashing windows in, and a lot of it's because he's president, and it's not from the right, it's from the uber left that don't even want Biden. They want further left. Now, that's a problem. But I don't know where the newfound peace is, and if you feel like it's super peaceful, hit up the comments. For the love of God, tell me all the ways. Maybe I can learn your philosophy. Maybe you can teach me something. It's all about perception. That's what I feel. So I want to see what everyone's perceiving to be so very, very peaceful right now, because I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, you ready? Let's bring it home. Here's Rand Paul and a nice quote from Rand Paul that says, "Our system only works well if we understand the speaker is not responsible for the actions of the listener, no matter if they are Republican or Democrat." Well, I have, and of course, look at the bottom of that. Look at that bottom of that post. For information about COVID-19, visit cdc.gov. For what reason was Fox News and their little picture of Rand Paul with his quote tagged for information about COVID-19? This has nothing to do about COVID-19. What does this have to do with COVID-19? This is a simple statement about you have to be responsible for your own actions, and the person speaking, unless they have done something completely drastic, cannot be responsible for what you do. And that's serious, or otherwise everybody, including Rand Paul, should be able to sue Maxine Waters, and she should go to jail for inciting violence against politicians and people that have different political opinions. That is undeniable fact, what I just said. But that doesn't count, and the madness from the extremists and the people that are completely brainwashed don't seem to understand that simple principle, that the reality is that they were in charge of the most damage and the most violence. They want no part of it. It doesn't count, and it's not violent because it's what they believe in. Doesn't matter what you believe in. What matters is violence, right is right, wrong is wrong. We get to this all the time. But this goes much further. Right there. This goes much further than just politics. I'm going to show you some crazy stuff. This is the world we live in. Are you ready? This is going viral right now, and this is real. You ready? A woman used Gorilla Glue to spray her hair. Okay? So Gorilla Glue responded and says they are, quote, sorry to hear about Tessica Brown, the woman who accidentally glued her ponytail. Okay? Are we following? Gets fun now. Remember, comes back to you cannot be responsible for the actions of other people. Not even the listener. You can't be responsible for the actions of other people. That's where we're going to go with this, right? Okay. So, let's read further into the article. Gorilla Glue said it's very sorry to hear about the plight of Tessica Brown, who went viral after posting about how she accidentally used the company's spray adhesive to secure her hairstyle. In her original TikTok, which has been viewed nearly 20 million times, Brown shares that she had used Gorilla Glue product to finish her ponytail after running out of her usual hairspray. That decision tragically led to a month-long effort to undo the damage, with many sympathizers following her journey. Okay, we're following. Here's a picture of her at the hospital getting her hair worked on. Okay. And now let's take this home. Brown did not immediately respond to BuzzFeed News' request for comment. A GoFundMe campaign she started on Sunday has collected more than $10,000, far exceeding a goal of $1,500. Many people online, however, are encouraging Gorilla Glue to do more for Brown out of good faith. It's not your fault by any means, but I'm sure a little kindness could go a long way for her right now. And this is where I find it interesting that I'm missing something that I need to show you guys. So I'm going to have to airdrop it right from my phone right now because Gorilla Glue responded even further. So let's see what Gorilla Glue had to say. Hang tight. How did this not get sent over? That would be 4-3. Let's see. Maybe it did and I just passed it over. No. No. Okay. Airdropping. Coming in hot. So I got to get it onto my computer and I got to get it onto the screen. Here we go. So go over to here. Downloads. I'm just going to pull it right on the screen. Give me 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Let's see what Gorilla Glue had to say. Okay. We are very sorry to hear about the unfortunate incident that Miss Brown experienced using our spray adhesive on her hair. We're glad to see in her recent video that Miss Brown has received medical treatment from her local medical facility and wish her the best. And they put up a little picture to accompany it. We are aware of the situation. We are very sorry to hear about the unfortunate incident. Okay, this is a unique situation because this product is not indicated for use in or on hair as it is considered permanent. Our spray adhesive states in the warning label, do not swallow, do not get in eyes, on skin, or on clothing. If used for craft, home, or auto office projects to mount things to surfaces such as paper, cardboard, wood, laminate, or fabric. Oh, it is used, I'm sorry, for craft, okay? We are glad to see in her recent video that she's received medical treatment and we wish her the best. Okay? So clearly people still have money to spend on frivolous shite because people were donating to somebody who willingly put Gorilla Glue in her hair. And somehow these people online and these people that are donating think that Gorilla Glue should go and give her money and help her out. If anything, I think Gorilla Glue should send her a specific bottle of glue and say, congratulations on making you viral by using our product incorrectly, and put like a little gold award and try and make a joke out of it. That is out of the kindness of their heart. If Gorilla Glue gives a large cash settlement to somebody who decided to put glue in their hair, I'm gluing my feet to the ground tomorrow, and I'm demanding $2.4 million. Because why not? That's where we're at in the world these days. And, as Rand Paul said, you cannot... Hold on. Is this my clip? You cannot just say it's someone else's fault when you do something. It's first part of being an adult. It's accountability. I remember that, so there's sometimes you do something and you have to be accountable even though it's right. I'm going to go back to preschool where I learned the lesson. I was always a kid that followed the rules. I was in preschool and there was one punk-ass kid who always did the wrong thing. I tried to stay out of his way. As most people do, we try to not make noise. We try not to go up against bullies. We try not to. And I tried to stay out of the way. Hell, I had a girlfriend in preschool. I asked her to marry me at graduation day. She declined. I gave her a 25-cent ring and said I shouldn't have spent money on her. That's what she told me. I was heartbroken, little 5-year-old me. However, all I wanted to do was go play house with her. Went home to my wife. I drove my truck home. She gave me fake eggs. Life was good. And then one day I was playing with the blocks. I brought my construction vehicle over to the blocks. And there's a real story. True story. And this kid decided he didn't want to share blocks with me. So he hit me with a block. And he had already pushed me down in the sandbox when the weather was nice. So I took my block and I hit that kid right back with the block. Because it sucks when somebody stands up to the bully. Because the bully doesn't like getting hit. He likes to do the hitting. And a lot of the bullies fold. They blow over when the wind gets strong. And you know what happened? I was sent to the big chair. I had to go to the big chair and sit down in the big chair. The big chair was a large chair and you were 5 years old and everyone was watching you as they played. They all got to play and they knew you did wrong. And everyone that went to the big chair cried like a baby as they were on display for the children that were acting good. And little crybaby who got hit with the brick back, he was upset. And this goes down to another lesson in life. Stand up to bullies because They're going to keep taking and treading on you. They're going to keep pushing your limit until you do so. And if you don't, you just live a life of being shatted on. I was in the first grade. I was at Great Kills Little League. I was playing baseball, and this one bully on the team used to always mess with me, take my hat off, throw it down on the floor, and step on it. And one day, he tried, and I caught my hat, ripped his hat off of his head, and threw it in a puddle of mud and grinded my cleat into it. And I watched him start crying like a bitch. He never messed with me again, and his first grade bravado was surely fractured. So, yes, it takes some fortitude to stand up and do these things, but you gotta do them, or you will remain a bitch that gets picked on forever. Having said that, I've totally deviated. We cannot allow people to ask for things because they feel that somebody else instructed them to. We cannot say we attacked the Capitol while President Trump was still speaking, and then we got more people to go to the Capitol that were too far in the extremist zone, and now it's Trump's fault. He didn't even say anything. He said, go fight. Again, go fight peacefully, of course, all that. Everybody says while they're rallying around a cause, we need to fight. Everybody. Unions, everybody. Are they inciting riots? And no. And when violence happens, you have to call it violence since day one. And if people put glue in their hair, they have to be told, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't put glue in your hair.
That was easy.
When children eat Tide Pods, and then they end up dying by eating Tide Pods, and I say children very lightly, I mean adults and teenagers that should know not to eat toxic detergent. I can't blame the parents fully because clearly I can blame the world and the person eating the Tide Pod for believing stupid crap they saw online or proliferating the idea that eating soap is fun. So no, you should not be donating your money to somebody that put glue in their hair. You should be using that money to order food or maybe support a business that's struggling with owners that can't keep their business open and put their life savings in it. You don't give your money to people that put glue in their hair. This is the real world. The same people that give money to putting glue in the hair will believe whatever they see on the news. They will believe that half the country is right-wing extremists. It's just not true. That, if you have any working brain cell in your head, you can see through the charade that they're doing with this impeachment trial. You can see the act that they're acting like they believe what they say when they don't. They simply just say it because they know you believe it. They're not even good actors. But they really just keep repeating it. And then the news will show that, and the talk show host will show that, and you will believe it. And I believe that everyone watching, whether you hate it or love it, I believe that you're better than that. I believe that your political affiliation doesn't dictate that you have a working brain. And I also believe that if you're a human that lives, breathes, eats, and shits, like me, that's all it takes to be a human. I don't care about what race you put in front of it, what sex you put in it, what sexual orientation you put in front of it. If you have a brain, use it. Stop buying into hysteria when it's clearly stupid. And before I read the comments, I do want to point out, if you can see it, right there, the Roman numerals on that clock are wrong. And Danny Presti was the one that realized it. So, after years of having that clock in my life, I just see it in the background right now, and I just wanted to point it out to you so you see it forever. All right, let's see what the comments are. We got 17. Let's see what they say. Okay, there's oops. Thank you for apologizing for the crazy texting. Let's see. Danny, I don't know if you're on the no-fly zone list. We're all on the no-fly zone list, unless we get anally swabbed at the airport to see if we have COVID. And then when we don't have the vaccine, screwed. Oh, hold on, that just scrolled really fast. Oh, wow. Hold on. Trying to catch up here. Hold on. You know Ted Bundy escaped jail 2 or 3 times, but COVID travelers are being jailed? I did not know how many times Ted Bundy escaped being put in prison, but that is a fun fact. Clearly, if you know. And again, there was a girl who went to another country, didn't follow their guidelines because she wanted to see her boyfriend do some water skiing thing on the beach. She was put in prison for like 60 days. And everybody said on the threads I was reading, good, this is what she gets for her white privilege. Because she was white, they said that's why she broke COVID protocols. Like nobody else from any race would have. We're going to get to that. I don't know if it's today, though. It's too much. I just got to get to bad policing and analogies on the goal is bad policing and not revenge for perceived. Anyway, these repercussions for being a human being with constitutional rights beyond out of control. Yes, it is beyond that of control. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read all this in like one thing, one swoop. Oh my God, if I want to stay home, I will. I want to put myself at risk, I will. And if someone can catch something from me, then they have the right and the ability to not be where other people are. End of story, 100%. And I will even give it a like. Tricky situation. I was all for state rights and less federal power. However, we can see what happens, when some of the governors, cough, cough, Newsom, Cuomo, cough, cough, Governor Murphy, cough, cough, agreed. You're right. There has to be some sort of, I don't know. I don't even know how to say checks and balances anymore. Legal and illegal is being erased from the dictionary and our history. Sure is. They're changing the meaning of all the words and how we perceive history. So for sure. We are now a part of a dictatorship. We sure are. It's like a multi-level dictatorship, actually, with the state and federal government, just like Danny was saying. Our days are being controlled, regulated, and constructed by the powers that be. This is a long one. I have to hit C more. Holy shite!
That was easy.
Okay. We are letting rich people to tell us how to live, what to think, and they do whatever the hell they want. And nobody holds them accountable because the other rich people on TV tell you that it's okay and they didn't mean it. And then people actually buy it. Again, Bill Maher, Van Jones. The communist. I can't ever say Van Jones without saying the communist. Allowing the powers that be to ruin relationships and divide the people based on health, race, and politics. True. There's so many people that can't be in the same room if you don't have the same opinion. It's very troublesome. And you know that they're the people that really buy into everything that the media says. Because they'll say every catchphrase. It's very sick. And they have no tolerance for anybody. Which shows that they've been programmed, like you said, to put certain things ahead of actual human relationships. They've actually erased people's feelings and attachments. It's fucking bizarre.
That was easy.
It is a sick promo for Gorilla Glue spray. True story. I didn't know they had spray. I never used Gorilla Glue, to be honest with you. I just knew it was a really good glue. Because it doesn't say hair. You know what? And if they give her money for that, I'm going to start exploiting that. So, I that's the way it goes. And you could use this in court. It doesn't matter. You better make sure your product says only to be used on these. Like, come on. You know what? I'm suing her for being a moron. Done. Countersuit. Add it. Put it on the books. I'm suing for her money that she gets from that lawsuit for stupidity and hurting the general society's brains. And I will donate that money. Give it back to the people. Okay, so when you see something so outlandish on products and say, did someone actually do something that stupid? Yes, like when McDonald's, they spilt the coffee and they said the coffee was too hot. Are you kidding me? The coffee's too hot? Yes, everyone's going to buy cold coffee. Got it. So stupid. Mama Matland ain't raised no bitch. Love it. Love it. So, yeah, about that. I am very, and that's Flippity Fish in the background. We're all, if you could hear it, it's all good. The cat loves Flippity Fish. I don't know if you ever saw the ad, but my cat dies for Flippity Fish. Throws it, picks it up, chucks it in the air. Oh, Jesus! Flippity Fish. Now, 1999. Something along those lines. Throwing Flippity back at you. Omaha. So, Yeah, so, yeah, it's hard to go up against bullies and be aggressive. Some people can't do it. I've never been a fan of doing it. It's uncomfortable for me. And you have to let out that monster that you all hold inside. And once you get going, though, people know they done fucked up.
That was easy.
And that's it. This just is what it is. Okay? And use that money to educate younger generations so they don't put glue in their hair. Truth. So, to the people that are watching right now, I say my farewell. Got a 50-minute episode out of me. Again, these episodes will fluctuate, but I'm sure at this point I will make Mad Bank by Flippity Fish, because I'm going to cut an ad of Flippity Fish for Flippity Fish. I will see y'all tomorrow, and feel free to share, feel free to leave more comments on it, do whatever you got to do. Follow us everywhere at We the People Are the News, because we the people are the news, or otherwise, you know what you're going to get stuck with? I could show you. If me and you and everybody don't use our voices, this right here is the news. End of story, case closed. Eat Tide Pods, put glue in your hair, expect to get money and special treatment for it, and the world is either our way or no way, so you better get to believing that apple is a goddamn watermelon. I will see you all tomorrow. For tomorrow, we did it in the IS-24 schoolyard. You remember the bullies? No, I don't. I remember all of the times that I actually almost got into brawls at IS-24 not because I thought that this apple here was a watermelon or vice versa, because people saw I was nice. And it took a while for me to get to that point, and then when I ran into that bully when I was 22, he said, "You can put me through a wall. I haven't grown since the 8th grade." And I said, "I thank you for showing me the monster within. Yes, I could put you through a wall, but I'm better than that." That's where you have self-control. Don't go and put people through the wall just because. There has to be a reason. And do it in the moment. Don't do it years later. That's some clown-ass bullshit. All right, everybody, and you know who I'm talking about, unknowingly. That kid was a Deutsche. All right, see you tomorrow. Everybody, love you. Peace up, A-Town down. We the People Are the News. See you then. Bye.